Noble cause corruption and teleological ideology. What's ideologically more important to you? The process used to solve an issue or the end result? This is an important question. It's an ethical dilemma that challenges every police criminal justice professional because you shape, restrain, and reform the lives of society, both the lawful and the lawless. In this way, each officer impacts the lives of every member of our nation. Whenever an ethical challenge is present, how you process this dilemma says a lot about you, your department, and the profession of law enforcement as a whole. With the weight of this responsibility in mind, it's important to review and understand the two basic ethical systems. We use these to process everything from simple, everyday challenges all the way up to those rock and a hard spot, potentially career-ending predicaments. We call these systems the deontological and teleological points of view, and I will briefly review both of them here before looking at their implications for day-to-day policing activities. The deontological ethical system. The deontological ethical system is grounded in the belief that how and why you do something is more important than the results your behavior produces. If your actions are inherently good, then it doesn't matter what the outcome is. Your conduct is ethically sound. Likewise, if your actions are inherently bad, then it doesn't matter what the outcome is. Your conduct is ethically wrong. For example, while on patrol, you come across a group of juveniles throwing snowballs at passing cars in the street. Pulling over, you confront the kids and explain to them the dangers of their actions. The juveniles, in turn, are apologetic and promise never to do it again. Remembering your youth, you decide to use your discretion and let them off with a warning. A few minutes after you leave, however, this same group of juveniles continues to throw snowballs at passing cars. But this time, one of the drivers is startled, veers off the road, and runs into a group of young children building a snowman in their front yard. Were you wrong to let the juveniles off with a warning? Under the deontological ethical system, the answer would be no. Your actions would be vindicated because your motivations were just, regardless of the fact that the results of those actions produce negative consequences. This is a process-oriented approach. The teleological ethical system. The teleological ethical system takes the opposite perspective. Under this belief system, the consequences of your behavior are the most important concern, not whether your actions were inherently positive or negative. If your actions or intent were good but produced negative results, the teleological system would find your actions unethical. Likewise, if your actions were inappropriate or even illegal but produced positive results, this ideological perspective believes you acted in an ethical manner. In other words, it doesn't matter how you produce the results as long as the desired outcome occurs. Going back to the same scenario given above, where juveniles were throwing snowballs at passing cars, the teleological viewpoint would find your behavior, using your discretion to let them off with a warning, unethical, because even though you had good intentions, the end result was negative. This is an ends-oriented approach. So which is better? Each viewpoint has obvious advantages and disadvantages. Some argue that those using a deontological perspective lack a sense of individual accountability, because to them, people are not responsible for the results of their behavior. In addition, they will highlight the subjective nature of what are and are not inherently good or bad uses of discretion or the proper methods of influencing others. For instance, does it really matter if you give kids a juvenile record as long as doing so possibly prevents them from hurting others? In response, those opposed to the teleological framework will highlight that we can't possibly direct what people do after they leave our control, but we can focus on making sure we do our jobs in a just manner. More importantly, they'll emphasize the negative effects of the do-whatever-it-takes attitude. It seems like there is no simple or universal answer, especially considering the variety of variables. However, there is one extremely significant external factor that shuts down the teleological perspective. We call it noble cause corruption. Noble cause corruption will be continued in Part 2.